There was a saying, in the beginning of time, there was a podcast. Beer Bubble!
Guys, welcome back to Beer Bubbles, the bubbliest podcast in the world, right now at least. I'm sitting here with Scott Vaccaro from Captain Lawrence Brewing Company. Who are you and what is Captain Lawrence?
Yeah, so my name's Scott Vaccaro. I am the owner, founder, head brewer and toilet cleaner at Captain Lawrence Brewing Company. And we are in Elmsford, New York.
And how come you're here in Stockholm?
I am here with some other American craft brewers to kind of help spread the word a little bit, some tap takeovers, get into the market. And Sweden's is a big market for us as a brewery. It's a big market for American craft beer. And, why not come visit, especially on a sunny 70-degree day?
Oh, yeah, this is absolutely gorgeous outside. I don't know why we're sitting inside, but probably because we have to set up the studio somewhere.
That's true.
When did you start? When did Captain Lawrence start?
So...
And how did Captain Lawrence
Sure.
start?
I mean, we can go all the way back. My foray into beer, I was 17 years old, went over to my friend's house one day after school, and his dad was making beer on the stove. Walked into the kitchen, thought it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. Asked him if he'd show me how to make beer. He said, go ask your parents. So I go home. I asked my parents, who weren't paying any attention to me, say, hey, go learn how to make beer. Sure. And I brought home my first case of beer. It was November of 1995. And after that, I ended up going to UC Davis. I got my degree in fermentation science. I brewed at Sierra Nevada for a few years, right out of school, learning how to make the best pale ales in the world.
At Ken's place.
Oh, at Ken's place, yes. Ken's little place in Chico. Beautiful spot. And after that, I'd been out in California for 6 years, so I said, all right, I'm going to go home, and moved home to Westchester County, New York. And the name of the brewery, coincidentally, comes from the name of the road I grew up on, Captain Lawrence Drive.
Okay, nice.
So there's a reason. I always forget to tell that part.
But what kind of beers do you do?
Well, when I started, having kind of cut my teeth home brewing, I guess you could say, on the West Coast, we made a lot of IPAs and pale ales. But I always had this, just passion for sour beer, for Belgian beer, reading Michael Jackson's books about the great beers of Belgium and, just doing all that. Reading those books just really was amazing. So we immediately started making sour beers as well. Fast forward 18 years, we're 18 years old now as a brewery. It's almost impossible to give them away now at the brewery. Like, we used to have lines out the door for barrel-aged sour beers. Now everybody wants hazy IPAs. Yeah. We roll with the times. Yeah,
true. But is the haze craze slowing down, or is it still like crazy?
For us as a brewery, Hop Commander, which is our West Coast style IPA, which I have right here, is still our biggest seller. But our hazy IPAs are hot on its tail. It's hard to say if it's slowing down. I feel like every brewery is different. There's a lot of breweries that are not 18 years old, that are maybe 4, 5, 6, 7 years old, that hazy is all they do. And that's, probably not slowing down for them. It's hard to say. For me, I like a nice, clean, crisp, filtered IPA.
Well, you've been working with Sierra Nevada.
That
was actually the
I did learn from the best.
The Sierra Nevada Pale Ale was what changed beer in Sweden, I'd say. Because back in 1994, 95, it came out here in Sweden, and it hit like a bomb.
Oh, I bet.
With brewers who started brewing that style.
Yeah.
And that's why
Transformative.
we're not just drinking shite lagers anymore. We're actually drinking something else as well.
Yeah.
But where are the trends going now in the US? I really want to know, because they end up here about 6 months later.
Yeah. I wish I could accurately predict that. Otherwise, I'd be going right to where they need to be if I could. When you look at the big overall trends, take craft beer out of it, take all that out of it, it seems like people as a whole in the U.S. are going back to either high ABV beers in single-serve 19.2 ounce cans because they want to catch a buzz real quick, or they're going to really light, cheap domestic lagers that they can buy and drink a lot of. It seems like, as somebody who only makes craft beer, obviously there's still a lot of IPAs out there, and people are certainly drinking them. But the macro trends are high ABV, cheap lager. From a craft perspective, it seems like it's still IPA all the way. I mean, it's every year is going to be the year of the craft lager, and I'm still hoping. I'm holding out hope.
We're actually noticed the trend going towards that the last year or two here in Sweden. People are drinking more craft lagers, classical beer styles like British ales,
Sure.
milds.
Milds?
I love milds.
Yeah. Nice malty brown ale.
Yeah.
Basically, like, milds are great. Yeah, I mean, we've been making a beer we call a classic lager, right? It's our rendition of the American light lager, and sales have been great, you know. But again, it's not overtaking IPA. So, like, you know, we'll see one day.
So what's the future?
What's the future?
I know you don't. If anyone knew the question, what's the next IPA, they'd brew it right now. But,
Yeah. Well, all right. So I'll throw my controversial take into this. My new favorite style of IPA, which a lot of people who are watching this or listening may say it's not even an IPA, is the cold IPA. I know it kind of was like a flash in the pan, just like brute IPA or, you know, dry IPA, whatever. But the cold, like, a lot of rice in the grist, Pilsner malt, cryo hopped with lupulin powder, cryo hops, and fermented with, you know, I guess a lager yeast, which makes it not really an IPA. It's not really an ale, but, you know, brewed more like an IPA, less like an IPL. And I just think those are killer. I love them. But I don't know. It's I may be off base on that. But if I had, you know, that's what I would say. That's what we should be able to make.
That's the fun thing about beer. Everyone has their own taste. It's the only thing that's subjective that we own properly.
Yeah.
It's our taste. And
Without a
if
doubt.
someone tells you you're wrong when you say you like this, you can actually tell them to fuck off, really.
Yeah, absolutely. You get to like what you like.
Yeah. I'm not going to keep you any longer. I'm going to let you get back down to the customers and your friends and all the good beers down there.
Well,
But I've got one more question,
Yes.
and this is probably the hardest one in the world for anyone in the beer. Well, who loves beer?
yeah.
It's not the Desert Island question, because that's done. It's the Grim Reaper question. You can have... He's coming now. You can have one more. Any kind of beer, any brand, any in production, out of production. Just what would you have? I know it's a mean one, but hey.
That's a mean one, man. I mean, last beer probably has to be the beer that, you know, changed my life with craft beer, and that's Sierra Nevada Celebration.
Okay, well, a good choice.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for being a part of the podcast, and have a great night and a great stay in Stockholm.
Yes, thank you so much. It's a pleasure, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
And we'll see you later on.
There was a saying, in the beginning of time, there was a podcast.